Hello everyone and welcome to Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. In this, our November 27th, 2024 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including the latest episode of Superman and Lois. We're going to be talking about what James Gunn has had to say about what's coming up in the Superman movie, what the kind of feel we're going to get about this film. And joining me this week, not Michael Bailey, not Mark Lax, Chance Bartels, otherwise known as the Nostalgic Podblast. Welcome, Chance.
Hey, Steve. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Michael's stuck at work. Mark's feeling a little bit under the weather. And at a moment's notice, Chance was like, yeah, I'd love to do it. And thank you so much for popping on within less than an hour's notice. We managed to get this all together. So thank you so much, Chance. Do you want to give people a little bit of a background about who you are, what you do?
Sure. I am in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and I have a nostalgia show called the Nostalgic Podblast on YouTube and Facebook, and it's usually Friday night. And I'm also an actor in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and that's pretty much my story. I'm just a big Superman fan like you are, Steve. I've been a fan of your website for over 20 years.
Fantastic. Yes, thank you to everyone who is tuning in live with us tonight. If you're on Instagram, you can go to supermanhomepage.com/live to see the full screen. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Facebook, we appreciate you joining us for this next hour of Superman chat. Also want to thank our sponsors and our patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt and Tina Murray. They've purchased my coffee for me tonight. Thank you so much for your participation in sponsoring tonight's show. And as Chance chugs his Pepsi, I'm chugging my Superman coffee.
You caught me.
So thank you so much for your contribution to the show. And if you want to join those fine folks and be a contributor to Superman homepage, all you have to do is click the join button below there on YouTube. There are different levels of membership with different levels of perks. Or you can go to Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/Superman homepage. And while we're talking about people doing stuff to help with the show, why not give us a thumbs up right now, like this, share this, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and just let the algorithm there on any of the platforms you're on know that this is a live feed that fans are watching and enjoying. So give us a comment, give us a thumbs up, and as I said, hit that subscribe button so you know whenever we're posting new videos. All right, what else do I have to get some of this stuff out of the way? Oh, if you are joining us live tonight and you want to have a chat with Chance and I, then feel free to go to supermanhomepage.com, click on the chat now button, call now button, or you can scan that QR code that is on your screen right now, and that will take you to the same green room. You'll be able to still watch the show. You'll be able to participate in the comments, and we will get you on if we have a chance in the second half hour of tonight's show. And what else do I have to say? Yeah, if you're too shy and you don't want to get on the phone and call us tonight, then feel free to post your comments. Chance and I can see what's going on in the comments section of the window there. So any questions you might have, any comments you want to throw at us, feel free to throw those in and we will have a look at them and discuss them as necessary. But if you want your comment or question featured live on the screen as we go tonight, then on YouTube there is a $sign button. All you do is click on that dollar symbol. A slide will appear on your screen. You decide on the dollar amount you're willing to donate. We will feature your comment live on the screen as we go along tonight. All right, with all the tasks out of the way, let's get into tonight's topics. We're going to start with the latest episode of Superman and Lois. Now, unfortunately, Chance, you haven't had an opportunity to see episode 9 of season 4. You're waiting to see the second last and last episodes together as a combined episode that I think probably should have been done. They did that with the premiere of this season. They did a double episode premiere. It probably would have been a good idea to do a double episode finale as well. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. Make it like a feature-length production. I think it would have been more dramatic. And I can't wait to watch the final episode. Such mixed emotions. You know, It's going to be so sad when it all ends because I've fallen in love with this show.
I
And
agree
I
with
think
you.
the
It's
writing
been an
is
awesome
great,
version.
the acting is phenomenal, and it's gonna hopefully maybe we'll see a trailer to the new movie. Can you imagine at the end?
Wow, that could be cool. I haven't thought of that.
I'm not. I know nothing. I know nothing. It's just conjecture. But can you
Yeah,
imagine if they dropped the trailer for the new movie at the end of the final episode,
that would
like a
be,
teaser trailer?
yeah, something. That would be impressive. I haven't even thought of that as a vehicle for where they might put something, but I like that idea. All right, so we're going to get into tonight's uh, discussion on that episode. I know you can't weigh in because, as I said, you haven't seen it as yet, but you've already indicated to me that you're okay with me giving some
Yeah,
spoilers, that you don't mind. So we're going to look between my comments and Michael Bailey's review, which is up on supermanhomepage.com, and just have a chat about this episode. So, as you probably saw from the graphic, Doomsday is back. Now, I want to get your thoughts just visually on this version of Doomsday because he has evolved in this episode, and we see a more pronounced bony chin. There are more bones on his shoulders. This is more comic accurate.
absolutely. And to me, that looks like something out of the Power Rangers. I love the design of that creature.
Yeah, I'm just impressed with what they're able to do. I mean, we know that the budget for this season 4 was cut back, and we know that some of the cast members have been relegated to cameos rather than regular cast members. So that is an impressive visual effect there that they've been able to do for Doomsday in this final season of Superman and Lois. Now, in this episode, Michael gave this a 5 out of 5 rating on his review that's up on our website. He says that on both a personal and objective level, he wished that the CW had released this episode and next week's episode on one night like they did with the premiere. So he's in agreement with you on that topic, saying it should have been a double episode finale on the one night. But nevertheless, we got this penultimate episode this week, and we see a very aggressive Lex Luthor. We see Lois and Clark, or Lois and Superman, turn the tables on Lex and Amanda McCoy in a way that is very mind playing. Like they play with their emotions. So Superman goes to Lex and toys with him a little bit there. And then you've got Amanda McCoy being toyed by Lois in regards to her emotions towards Lex and making her realize that Lex doesn't team up with anybody. Lex is beholden to nobody other than himself, and that he will step on you and discard you to the side as soon as he has gotten what he wants from you. And I think Amanda is comes around a little bit in this episode to realize that when she does confront Lex about what he is planning and why he's going back to Smallville. And it's very interesting what Lex does to Doomsday for that to escalate into the way it has, to that image that we see. And it's both visually spectacular, emotionally spectacular, and there's just a lot to unpack in this episode. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you think of it when you finally get to see it.
Same here. And I like Amanda, and I hope we see more of that actress who plays her in some other project. I think she's fantastic. And of course, Lex, he is the personification of an egomaniac.
Yeah,
I
big
hate being
time.
at a disadvantage not having seen this, but I did want to wait and watch it and have my popcorn and watch it as a giant 2 hour epic finale, series finale. But I like the character of Amanda, how she can stand up to Lex, right? She can hold
Yeah.
her own. And that's impressive. She's a strong character, and I love the character.
Yeah, really impressive the way they've been able to do that with Amanda McCoy. A lot of people maybe not familiar with the character of Amanda McCoy, thinking, maybe Miss Tessmacher or Mercy Graves, but Amanda McCoy is a similar type of character in this version of her role, but has been in the comic books, was the one who discovered that Clark and Superman were one and the same back in the John Byrne days, but Lex was so egotistical that he couldn't see that anybody who had that much power would be going around masquerading as a normal human being. Because if he was in the same situation, he'd be lording it all over everybody. So the Wonder Twins, as we're calling them, Jonathan and Jordan, in this episode, have some really great moments, especially Jordan's moment in the cafe where he's helping the elderly lady who owns the cafe. There's a real touching moment there. Jonathan has a lot of moments where he shines as well. And there's a really cool sequence which is described, I think it was in the trailer, where they're both trying to land a punch on Superman. Superman says to him, like, we need to get your training. Let's see if you guys can actually land a punch on me, rather than training in the Fortress of Solitude where they're not able to even lay a finger on the hologram of John Henry Irons' suit, which, as we know, is in Lex Luthor's possession now. So they're worried that Lex is going to come after them in the suit, and are they going to be able to handle Lex in that suit if he comes at them, because Superman's no longer at his peak in his powers. And so it's really interesting moments here. Lois has some great moments as well. So I'm really looking forward to the finale next week. We've got some questions coming thick and fast from John Patrick Van Pelt in the comments. Let's have a look at those. If Lex is trying to take everything away from Superman on everything he loves, including his heart, isn't there a way to get his regular heart back from Lex? Well, in an earlier episode, we saw Lex stomp on a heart in front of Jordan and destroy it. We don't know if that was Superman's real heart. I don't know what they're going to do with that whole situation in the finale, if that's even going to be addressed. So we'll have to wait and see. There is some speculation. Michael thinks that the heart inside Doomsday, which is a Superman heart because he's a Superman from an alternate Earth. Remember, he was Bizarro on that alternate Earth. May be an option. I don't know if it's a reversed heart, so the ventricles won't necessarily line up because it's a mirrored image. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. What do you think about the whole situation? Do you think that they will leave Superman power, like his powers diminishing in the finale, and let the twins maybe take over, or do you think there'll be some kind of resolution?
I think you're onto something. I think there's definite foreshadowing that may in fact take place, because we've seen where his flying falters and things have gone wrong since he had that new heart put in his chest. So a lot of people have speculated that he may die again. I don't think that's going to happen. I think maybe Lex will die. This Lex. That remains to be seen. But not at the hands of Kal-El, because he doesn't kill. I think something may go wrong. Like, I can see, like, his own device goes wrong, or he gets killed by his own hand, as it were.
Okay.
Like, something will go wrong that he created.
Causes his own death.
His own comeuppance, correct. But I don't know. I don't have the script.
Interesting. Yeah. Another question, do you think Lois did the right thing in asking Bruno Mannheim? That was another thing. Lois goes in this episode and has a chat with Bruno Mannheim in prison to see if she can get his help, because she knows that he's opposed to Lex Luthor. I think that was a good idea, because Bruno has shown himself to be someone who has the right intentions but has the wrong approach. He's all about helping the people of South Metropolis, or as what we know, it's Suicide Slums. But it's just his ends, the means don't necessarily justify the ends in the way Bruno goes about doing what he does. So yeah, it was very interesting to see Bruno turn up in this episode.
Agreed.
All right. What is the real reason why Lex is out of prison? Is his daughter, or is it? So Lex is out of prison because it was. Lois realized and came to the understanding that the crimes that she put him away for, that she wrote about him perpetuating, were falsified. So he actually didn't commit the crimes that he went into prison for. So he was released on those grounds. But Lois knows that he is a criminal and has done other crimes that he just can't be pinned on him, because of the way Lex operates. He gets other people to do his dirty work for him. And whenever, though they are exposed, like with Otis, somehow that person is killed, dies, commits suicide, whatever, so that there is no way of joining the dots between them and Lex. So Lex is very smart in that way.
He covers his tracks. He gets rid of the evidence in a dastardly way if he's taking
Yeah,
out lives.
exactly. How are Jordan and Jonathan going to work together to get rid of Doomsday and Lex altogether? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait for that last episode. We don't know how they're going to work together, but Superman in this episode realizes that they are not him. They are half human. So he realizes they're never going to be able to be Superman at his peak. So he realizes that they don't have to be individually Superman, but combined, they could work together in a way that he was never able to because he never had somebody with him who was able to help him in that way. But the fact that they have each other and that they are twins, they can combine their strengths and fight as a unit.
Yeah, kind of like in Superman 2, going back to the Christopher Reeve movie, where the villains combine. You could combine your powers like they did against Superman in the Fortress in the climactic battle in the Richard
Mm.
Lester scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I can see something like that happening. A little throwback.
Yeah, nice. So Lex found Doomsday in the mines at Smallville, and it's revealed in here that the Doomsday creature was trying to regain access to that portal that connected our Earth to, or that Earth to the Bizarro Earth, and he was trying his darndest to break through that, all that collapsed wall, everything that fell down that stopped that from happening. So I don't know if they're called the Schuster mines like they were in Smallville, but I can't recall if they actually had a name in the Superman and Lois TV series, but it's the mines that we've been seeing right throughout the series. There's no way Doomsday and Lex can take out an entire town like Smallville and the folks that live there. Am I wrong? Well, there is definitely a way. I mean, Lex is, nobody stands in Lex Luthor's way, and he's PO'd at the fact that the people of Smallville turned him down and rebuked him and, shunned his offer. So he wants them to pay.
Millions and millions of dollars they turned down. What character the people of Smallville have?
Yeah, exactly. Great fortitude. Saw a frame on the wall in the series finale promo extended trailer saying it went by so fast. Does someone sew that together? Yeah, that's been on somebody's wall. I think we've seen that for a while now. I'm not sure if it's in Lois and Clark's house, the Smallville Kent farm. I think it's like maybe Martha stitched that together back in the day. Whatever happened to Jimmy Olsen? Why was he only in one episode? Budget. They only needed him for that one episode. And he served his purpose. So he's back in Metropolis working at the Daily Planet. So we don't need to see him any more of Jimmy. His story has been told. So I guess that's the answer to that.
He's wrapped. Yep.
He's wrapped. Yep. Do you foresee, this is from Superman Training 101, do you foresee any character other than Lex dying in the finale? Do you want to have a go at that one, Chance?
Ooh. Yeah, I don't think that any of the Wonder Twins will pass away.
No.
But I pray that Lois does not get taken out. I pray.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they would do that. I mean, what would be the point or the advantage besides just a gut-wrenching finale? I mean, no, I don't think so. I see Lex getting killed off. This Lex in this universe.
Okay.
In the Superman and Lois universe. I can see that happening, and that's it. Maybe a couple of his henchmen, but I just think Lex is going to get his.
Interesting. Justin Suarez asking, can't Henry still, I think it means John Henry, still deactivate the suit? No, Milton Fine, who is obviously this version, he's a brainiac, whether you mean that word being super smart or whatever. He has hacked the suit. He's taken over. He's found files in there that, John Henry didn't want him to see, especially the scans of Superman's health. Lex is all over that now. He knows that Superman is no longer the person he was because of the heart issue. He even found the files in this episode of Captain Luthor. Remember on John Henry Irons' Earth, the suit, belonged to Captain Luthor, and then built by John Henry. So, because their version of Lex on that Earth was a good person, we assume. Right. So, yeah, interesting that they referred back to that Captain Luthor, because remember when we first met John Henry Irons, the suit kept calling him Captain Luthor, and we were thinking that he was Lex Luthor, but then we found out that he was John Henry Irons. Just one of those curveballs that this series has thrown us time after time.
I like the writing a lot in this show.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
really
miss it.
well done. Yeah, for sure. All right, so John Patrick Van Pelt mentioned the extended trailer for the finale. Let's have a look at that right now. Here is the final trailer for Superman and Lois.
What do you think Superman and Lois Lane will be remembered for?
I'd like to think truth and justice.
And a better tomorrow.
You are weak and worthless, just like your mother.
You will never hurt another person. I have to keep them safe.
The boys do not live in a bubble anymore. They live in the real world.
They're not ready.
They have each other, and they have you, and that's gonna have to be enough.
Please don't leave me. I promise I won't.
It is time you finally accept you can't do this on your own anymore.
He doesn't have to.
We have an idea.
I will kill you right here.
Then do it!
Time to die, Lois!
You came after my wife, my family, my town, but all that ends right now! Why won't you die?
There you have it.
Oh, wow! We're in for a wild ride with that finale.
It's in, yeah. We're seeing Superman and Lex Luthor go toe to toe for the first time in live action.
Absolutely. And incidentally, this is my favorite Lois Lane now of all the Supermans. Going back to the Adventures of Superman with George Reeves. Phyllis Coates. This is my favorite Lois. I think she's likable, competent. I love the acting. It's going to be sad to say goodbye.
Cassava Bensa 750 in the comments saying, is there a possibility that Superman or someone will do a time jump in the finale? Spinning around the world?
We will soon see.
So that's the
That's a good-
season and series finale coming next week. What is it? December, what am I looking at? December the 2nd. Monday, December 2nd at 8 p.m. Titled, It Went By So Fast. The description for this episode says, the Kents fight with everything they have as Luthor makes his final move on Smallville. Doesn't give away too much, just sets it up. We've got a couple of more images for the series finale that I am going to put up on the screen right now. There was a Doomsday we mentioned already. So here are some of the street photos. You got the Kents there, the boys helping out their dad. Lois, very iconic imagery there, almost like the Death of Superman comic book. And good to see that Lana and John Henry are helping out in this episode. They came forward with an idea. I wonder what their idea is, but it's going to be very interesting, and a very battle-damaged Superman there with quite a bit of scarring.
I'll say, look at that. Wow.
So they have
Dramatic stuff.
dramatic stuff.
We waited so long for this, and it's here, right?
That's it.
It's so bittersweet, because we were been waiting for this finale, but then it's the end, but we have a new beginning as Superman fans with this new film franchise. So that's one small consolation. And a lot of people were like, yeah, but I like this show, but just hang in there. It'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's great that this series was able to go out on its own terms in a way. I mean, they were hoping, obviously, to go longer, but at least they got a heads up that this was going to be the final series, and they were able to prepare and write the episodes the way they wanted to farewell the show the way they wanted to. You might remember Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, went for 4 seasons as well, but they finished on a cliffhanger that didn't have a nice loose,
No
nice
resolution.
tight knot on the
Yeah.
end of it. It was left open.
Yeah.
So we don't
And
want
they
that
could have done a TV movie. Why didn't they do a TV movie back then
finish
just
it
to
off.
tie up all the loose ends? I mean, they have no respect or regard for the fans back then. Not now. That was back on ABC in 1995, I think.
Now, there are fans out there who are blaming James Gunn for this. Now, you've got to remember that James Gunn has been publicly on the record as saying he's a fan of this series and did announce that it would go on for another couple of seasons back when we thought it might end after season 2. And you got to remember that it's the CW who have been bought out by Nexstar, a new direction for the company. They want the CW to be a different type of studio, a different type of network, sorry. And so they are taking the network in a different direction. It does not have any more superhero shows on the CW. And so we were lucky, as I said, to be able to get a final season with a reduced budget and only reduced episodes. But yeah, you've got to remember that it's not James Gunn's fault. The CW are being bought out by a new investor, and they've decided to take the studio in a different direction, the network.
Well said. Well said. I agree 100%.
All right. A super chat. Thank you for My Flock is Everywhere for the super sticker. Thank you very much for that. Coming soon, surrounded by yellow stars. Thank you very much for your donation there. And the super sticker. It's the first time we've seen a super sticker. We've had super chats, but no super stickers or super thanks. So thank you very much for that. My Flock is Everywhere. All right. That is where we're at with the upcoming series finale of Superman and Lois. Very looking forward to seeing what's going to come. I'll be sad, like you said, to see it go, but nothing good lasts forever. So we should be grateful for what we've got, and the fact that they're able to go out with a bang. We're looking forward to that. And Michael and Mark will be back next week to chat with us. But looking forward to hearing your comments when you type them to us next week, Chance, after watching both episodes.
I was just about to say, I can't wait to hear y'all's thoughts, and we'll be on the same page. I'll be all caught up, and we can just talk about it in the chat.
Excellent. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're at the halfway mark of tonight's show. Then we're going to come back on the flip side, talk about James Gunn and his comment about the upcoming Superman movie. We've got the end of the month stuff to do. We've got the super secret soundbite. We've got the fan favorite segment. And if I have time, I'm going to jump in and step into Michael's shoes and try to do This Week in History as well. So stick with us, folks. Plenty to come right after these messages.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program. Just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/Superman Homepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman in Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
No monstrous news ever happens around here until now, because with Kenner's Superpowers collection, I've got my biggest story yet. This free offer. For 5 proofs to purchase from any of these guys spoke separately, like Superman, you get a free figure, not yet available in any store. Who is it? My buddy Clark Kent. And check it out. Clark's got power action just like Superman. Superman?
Hurry, offer will end. Details on specially marked packages.
What? Superman?
Great commercial there with Mark McClure, our old Jimmy Olsen, figuring out Clark, Superman. All good. All right, so let's jump into the Superman movie news segment of our show. And James Gunn was recently on a video interview with Movie Zine where he discussed the upcoming Superman movie, and he had this to say about the tone of the film. Let's have a look at what he had to say.
One of the things I love about DC Comics is that they've always been able to tell different stories in different ways. They've told stories that were more family-oriented, stories that were more adult-oriented, dark stories, light stories. And I think for us, we just want to tell a bunch of different stories. A lot of those different stories are going to be in the DCU. So we have, something that's relatively serious like Superman, and then something that's relatively comedic like Peacemaker, all in the same universe, something very adult like Peacemaker, something very family, pretty family friendly like Superman. But
so we've got pretty serious and relatively family friendly as descriptive terms for the upcoming Superman movie. Thoughts?
Yeah, that was shot partially here in Georgia, some Daily Planet scenes, and as you've reported, it was shot up in Cleveland, Ohio as well. And I am really excited about this film. I cannot wait for. Oh, look at that! I love the new symbol, and that got a lot of backlash originally. Remember?
Yes.
You reported on that. But I'm really excited about the direction of the music. I'm sure there'll be Easter eggs to the Christopher Reeve films and other incarnations of Kal-El. I think it's just going to be fantastic. I'm very optimistic.
I'm very happy to hear him say that it's serious in that, look, relatively serious, because there's a lot of people going, oh, he's going to make it a comedy and it's going to be like, Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's just a whole bloody, comedic fest. But he's saying it's relatively serious compared to like something like Peacemaker, which is really, hilarious. And then he's also saying that it's relatively family friendly, which he said, very family friendly. He goes, well, relatively family friendly. So it's not going to be just a kid's movie, but it is a movie that the whole family will be able to watch, which, I've heard heaps of people go, finally, a Superman movie I can take my children to go see, but I'll still enjoy it as well.
Do you know if it'll be PG or PG-13? That's to be determined, right?
Yeah, I haven't heard of a rating yet.
Hasn't rated it yet? Okay, I didn't think so. Do you predict a PG-13 based on James Gunn's comments?
Well, that sounds reasonable to assume. Yeah. I mean, even if it does get an M rating, just means mature audiences, kids can go still see it, but they need to have, an adult with them kind of thing. So, anyway, in between there.
Rated R restricted, is that what you mean?
Is that what you have? Okay. So there's obviously different restrictions there between what we have there and what, I think we've got something in the middle of between what you have as PG-13 and R. Like, R for us is restricted, which is like, adults only type of thing. So
I see. And we have the same system you described. You have to have an adult with you. If you're underage, under 17, you have to be accompanied by a parent or a guardian. But we have G, PG, PG-13, and R, and then the stuff I won't mention, like the Twitter new name. Okay.
So I think your PG-13 is more like our mature audiences, which is you need to be 15 plus to go see it without an adult. So, but PG-13 is really our PG, which is like parental guidance recommended. So, kids can still see it, but we still think that a parent should go see it with them.
I want to show you this. This ties into this. I mean, we've gone beyond the finale, but this just happened to be sitting on my stack of comics. I'm bagging and rebagging comics.
Nice.
I wrote you privately about a great comic book collection I bought. It has tons of Superman throughout the decades. And look, there's an epic fight between Lex and Kal-El.
There you go.
Anyway, I know we're not doing the comic book segment yet, but
quite fortuitous that was at your fingers to be able to grab that, considering what we've just watched on the Superman and Lois trailer. All right, let's have a look at the What else have we got with the Superman movie? Anything? Oh, yeah. James Gunn recently put up 2 tickets to the premiere of the upcoming Superman movie, along with the opportunity to go to the after party where you'll be able to rub shoulders with the cast and crew of the film. And that was to help out the Homes for Our Troops 8th Annual Veterans Day Celebrity Auction. And the lucky winning bidder paid $20,100 to get this opportunity. Flights weren't included. Like, you got to get your own way there. It's just impressive that someone was able to pay that much to go see the premiere of the movie and then go to the after party. Congratulations to whoever that was. James Gunn even said thank you to whoever won this auction for truly supporting our wounded veterans. I'll see you at the premiere sooner than you know. Well done.
Great cause, tax write-off for the person who paid, most likely. It's a win-win.
Exactly. So well done to whoever donated that amount of money. Still on the movie side of things, fans who didn't get to see Superman, the Christopher Reeve story documentary film in the theater, and who are subscribers of the streaming service Max, from December 7th, you will be able to watch that fantastic documentary. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it, Chance. They used your name twice in that one sentence.
It's okay. You know what? I'm waiting to see it on the big screen. I have not. I'm like such a dunce tonight, but I have not seen it because I'm waiting to see it on the big screen. The 2 times that it did air in the U.S. or screen on the U.S. in cinemas, I was not available. So I'm going to do my best to see it this time. I'm going to bring some tissues. It's going to be an emotional roller coaster, to say the least. People I trust that have reviewed it,
Yeah. December 7, 8 p.m. Max. If you're not a subscriber, maybe that week take out a 7-day free trial or something like that just to watch this, and then you can unsubscribe if you so desire. But if you haven't seen it, definitely worth seeing. Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. Make sure you check it out on Max December 7th. All right, let's get into our monthly segment, the Super Secret Soundbite.
Only one thing alive with less than 4 legs can hear this frequency, Superman, and that's you.
All right, so the Super Secret Soundbite from last month was this. Listen.
Thanks, Bizarro. You actually did a good job.
Now that you know Bizarro and not Bizarro are same person, I must kiss you to erase your memories.
So we had 2 people guess where that was from, and they were Jeremy Crawford and Patrick O'Neill. It was from Tales from Metropolis, starring Bizarro, the animated short that was posted up on YouTube by DC. So well done to those 2 guys for guessing where in the world of Superman that sound came from. Huge congratulations. Let's see if more people can guess where in the world of Superman this new super secret soundbite comes from. Have a listen.
Again!
No, I'm sorry. Only one ride to a customer.
That is an easy one. So if you think you know where in the world of Superman that sound came from, then go to supermanhomepage.com. Under the contact menu, you will find the Super Secret Soundbite entry form. Fill out the form, send your entry in, and we will read out the names of each person who guesses it right when we return to this segment at the end of December, or near the end of December, because we'll see how we go for taking a break around that time. All right, that is a Super Secret Soundbite segment. Let's jump into the fan favorite segment of our show. All right, the fan favorite segment of our show, I should say, was the question: what is your favorite Tom Welling Smallville statue, figurine, or action figure? Now, we only had one person respond. That was Lorenzo Valdez. And Lorenzo said, my favorite Tom Welling action figure is the one released in the first wave of Smallville action figures alongside Lana and Lex. I figure Steve will likely have this figure ready to showcase during the broadcast, as I know he owns one of these, given that I geek out each time I see it next to Lana and Lex on his shelf in the background of the speeding bulletins. So that is the first Clark Kent Smallville action figure. It is standing next to this one that they did later on as a different wave. So these are the two Smallville Clark Kent action figures that are in my collection that I thank you for Lorenzo for reminding me so that I was able to bring them to the off the shelf into the broadcast tonight and showcase them there.
Nice. They look great.
Yeah, they are. They stand pretty well on their own too. The action figures have a lot of issues with the joints and that. These ones don't have any. Actually, this one has a knee joint in it, but the other one only has the arms. The arms only move. Oops, the arms only move on this one. There is no articulation in the legs, so it stands nice and firm and it doesn't fall over and cascade like a domino effect, which I've had happen with my other action figures. It's a pain. First world problems. All right. John Patrick Van Pell asking about the Christopher Reeve documentary, if it's on Max for a limited time only. Isn't everything. Streaming services are renowned for, having a limited run. It will be available, I'm sure, for a year or more on the streaming service, but nothing lasts forever. So you'll have plenty of time. It won't be just like a 1 night, 2 night thing like the theater release was. But yeah, it'll be on Max for quite a long time. I imagine you'll have plenty of opportunity to watch it if you are a Max subscriber. All right. That was the fan favorite segment. We have a new question for this week, which is, what is your favorite Superman Returns statue, figurine, or action figure? So the email address is rolling across your screen right now. It is info@supermanhomepage.com. Send your replies in for this fan favorite segment question. What is your favorite Superman Returns statue, figurine, or action figure? There have been quite a few of those, as opposed to the Smallville side of things, where it was very limited. You have more opportunities to get involved in the fan favorite segment for this coming week. All right, that one's done. Let's jump into this week in history, and I'm sure that you'll have a few comments on some of these. Chance, let's have a go with the intro.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bounds of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
All right, so let's get into this week in history. You'll have to bear with me as I try to juggle many screens at one time and many buttons pressed at the same time as well. Here we go. So we start way back in 1944. This week in 1944 we saw the release of Action Comics number 80, and this one shows Mr. Mixier's Tiplik. Yes, that's the way they spelt it back then, not Mr. Mixier's Pitlik, as it is now. Originally, it was TPLK, not PTLK. So Mr. Mixier's Tiplik returns, and we also had a couple of other backup stories that don't to do with Superman. Yeah.
That's your favorite. Your favorite.
My
character.
My favorite Superman villain. That's right. You remembered. So that was.
And look at the top, U.S. Navy. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that was a special edition, U.S. Navy edition. So that is very cool. Back in 1944. 1954 this week saw the release of Superboy number 38. And we had 3 stories: The Impossible Illusions, Through the Eyes of Superboy, and Public Chimp number 1, which is on the cover there. A super chimp. There we go, Superboy number 38. Also in 1954, we had World's Finest Comics number 74, and the Superman Batman story, and this was The Contest of Heroes. And so that's the super signal, that's the bat signal. So I didn't know Superman had a super signal of his own.
A signal. Exactly. I was going to say the same thing, Steve. That's unusual.
Learn something new. Same week, November 1954, saw the release of Action Comics number 200. And in a very politically incorrect cover, we have Superman Tests of a Warrior, where they're trying to break their hatchets over Superman's head.
Wow. They're trying to scalp him. But they can't.
Maybe. They can't. Can't even get his hair cut with scissors back then either. So we have now moving to, again, 1954, same decade. Saw a lot of comic books released that week. Adventure Comics number 208 saw the Rip Van Winkle of Smallville with Superboy on the cover.
Nice.
Love
the color.
Yeah. Jump to 1964 for the next one, which is Action Comics number 320 this week, saw a Superman story that was the 3 super enemies. And you've got Hercules, Atlas, and Samson having a go at Superman there. And there was a backup story, which was a Supergirl story, The Man Who Broke Supergirl's Heart. So that was 1964. Also that same week in 1964, we saw the release of Adventure Comics 328, The Legion of Superheroes, The Lad Who Wrecked the Legion. And the Superboy story was The Man Who Knew Superboy's Identity. So
wow.
That was this week in 1964. We also saw Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, number 82, in this week in 1964. Jimmy Olsen's Magic Gloves, The Wedding of Maggie and Sandra, and The Unbeatable Jimmy Olsen, which is there on the cover with Jimmy in the ring doing a figure 4 leg lock or some kind of twisted leg maneuver on Superman.
Nice. Wrestling.
Wrestling. Jumping another decade forward to November 1974 this week, we saw the release of Superman Family 169. This was one of those 100-page giants for only 60 cents. And this one had a number of stories: Target of the Tarantula, starring Lois Lane, a Jimmy Olsen story called The League of Fantastic Superman, the Anti-Supergirl Plot, Krypto's Mean Master, Clark Kent's Super Dad, and the Bizarro story, The Good Deeds of Bizarro Luthor. So a lot of reprints in that one.
And look at her legs. I mean, in the top two, in the corner box image, they're showing Lois's legs pretty good. I love these 100-page books are great, but they're so hard to bag and board as a comic collector because you need to get a golden age bag and board for it to fit.
So true. Then we jump forward, I'll say still in 1974, Action Comics 444, which was Beware the Hero Killers, accusing Superman of murdering the Green Lantern. Funnily enough, there is a Green Arrow story that says the Black Canary is dead. So a lot of death in this issue. Bit dark.
What a cover.
Then moving forward to 1994, we jump forward a couple of decades, nothing in 1984. 1994 saw Adventures of Superman 519. No one defeats Brainiac, and a very iconic cover there of the version of Brainiac that was becoming. Went from Milton Fine to that Brainiac. Wow. That's 1994. Same week, 1994 saw the release of Steel number 11, Firepower, and then jumping forward to 2004, we saw Superman 211. This was a it was a series of covers of the same image designed by different artists over this time. So Superman having a punch at Wonder Woman, and this was reprinted in a number of hardcovers and trade paperbacks over the years, but this was For Tomorrow Part 8. So Brian Azzarello, Jim Lee, and Scott Williams, the creators on that one. And then now jumping forward to 2014, we saw Earth 2 World's End number 8, and we also saw that same week Superman number 36, the artwork by John Romita Jr. Different people liked it, others didn't. Written by Jeff Johns here, and this was Exodus, was the internal story title. And that is the comic book side of the world of Superman. But this week in history on the live, in the real life of, like as in the real world, I should say, just getting my calendar ready for that. We had Noel Neal's birthday. The late, great Noel Neal was born on November 25th in, I'm going to try to quickly get all the details there. I think I've got it here on my notes. November 25th, Noel Neal, who played Lois Lane in the Superman serials, the 1950 Superman TV series, was also in Superman Returns, was also in, I think, the Superboy TV series. She was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota in 1920. A good friend of mine and the website as a whole. We miss you, Noel. Then on the 27th today, back in 2008, Patricia Morand, who played Lois Lane in the Broadway musical comedy It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman, passed away sadly from brain cancer in 2008. She was aged 74. So Patricia Morand, we remember her today. Jerry Ordway, writer and artist, great man, born in 1957, November 28th. So we wish him a happy birthday for tomorrow. And then, if you want to wish him a happy birthday, you can. Jimmy Olsen is traditionally recognized as celebrating his birthday on November 29th. So happy birthday to Jimmy Olsen for later this week. And that is This Week in History. I muddled my way through it.
Indeed. Noelle Neal, I met her and Christopher Reeve back in May of 1994 at Dixie Trek. Nice. I'll never forget how nice both of them were. Incredible. And Dana Reeve, too.
Yes, I met Dana.
Will Superman be in theaters? It will be in theaters again, Steve, or just Max?
The Christopher Reeve one, it will just be on Max.
Okay. I blew it. I wanted to see that in the theater. But I will watch it on Max.
Silhouetted Animator sends us, do you think there's some off-screen implied history of Superman and Lois as Milton, like post-defeat Brainiac as a human, since has a little candle jar at his desk? It's really interesting what they've done with this Brainiac on Superman and Lois, this Milton Fine. You know, if there are little hints to him being Brainiac without them actually stating that he is Brainiac. So it's an interesting question, and hopefully we get some kind of movement forward with Milton Fine in Superman and Lois for the finale, so that we can work out whether or not he truly is some kind of otherworldly Brainiac, or if he's just a very smart guy who they have given the name Milton Fine to make us comic book fans go, ooh, he's Brainiac. Wait and see. All right. So thank you very much for that super chat, Silhouetted Animator. Great question. All right. So now we are going to, what else have we got on our agenda tonight? Done all those segments. Oh, talking about birthdays and anniversaries, Superman homepage also celebrated its 30th anniversary this week. This month, really. It's, I don't know the exact date, but it was in November. I didn't start the website, if you're not sure about that whole situation. It was started by another gentleman who, why am I skipping on his name? He's a good friend of mine back in the day. And he sadly passed away in late 96 of a rare genetic skin disease that predisposed him to cancer. And he passed away. But before he did, between the two of us, we were able to transfer his files to my computer, and I was able to then take over running the Superman homepage in 1996 and have been doing so for the last 28 years. But it started as a very humble one-page home page, which is where it got its name, back in November 1994, where it was pretty much just very simple, because that's all the internet could cope with back then. And then I, as a graphic designer... There was no Windows 95 yet. There wasn't any YouTube. 95. There was no Facebook. There was no Google. There was, we were very early on in that world of the internet.
And when you took over 96, we had the Olympics here in Atlanta.
Right.
Just a point of reference at that point in time.
That's how old I am. It's just phenomenal that the website has remained online for so long, and a testament to all the fans out there who have kept us going by continuing to visit the website, and all the volunteers. I can't thank, people like yourself, Michael Bailey, Mark Lax, everyone who chips in and helps out. Want to thank everybody for helping out, continue the Superman homepage running. And the poll on our website at the moment was I just changed it today, was how long have you been visiting the Superman homepage? And nearly 50% of people have been visiting the website, like yourself, for over 20 years, which is crazy. I mean, another 20% were over 15 years. So the longevity of the loyal fans, the fan base that we have, is just a testament to Superman fans and the fact that they remain loyal to the character and to our website. It's really appreciated.
And don't sell yourself short. You keep it constantly updated with the latest Superman news. If you weren't updating it, people wouldn't go there. So a lot of credit goes to you, Mr. Steve Eunice.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Chance. There's a couple of people commenting. Justin Suarez says that he's been since 2005. Silhouette Animator says, I remember when the internet first came out, I was 8 or 9 in 1996. Yeah, it's actually been around a little bit longer than 1996. It was the early 90s. No, it was actually around before then. It was more of like a military government thing that they were, and then it just exploded from there. But yeah, I remember the dial-up days of dial-up modems, and yeah, I'm really aging myself now. Internet didn't always exist. Kids these days just take it for granted.
And if you look at International Movie Database, that started in 1990. It says copyright 1990 to 2024. It began in 90. It must have been a very skeleton type operation.
I can imagine. A couple of items that are out there for fans if you're really interested in merchandise. There's the Prime One Studio Justice comic Superman statues available pre-order now. We showcased that last week when it was first revealed as a first image. There's also a DC Super Friends Imaginext action figure. It's a Superman Insider, an exosuit action figure, just in time for Christmas. If you've got a young one who is interested in Superman, looks like a pretty sizable action figure. So something to look out for on the Superman homepage. That looks really cool. DC Shop has a Superman sweatshirt, which I'm going to try to bring up the image quickly for you. Turn off all these ones. There it is for you right there. That's Superman putting the star on the top of the tree because it's so easy for him to do. That's a really cute one from the DC Shop. And don't forget that Chapter 3 of our Superman audio drama, Superman the Metropolis Code, is available to listen to and vote for. You've got to get in quick, so I've got to edit the final parts of Chapter 4 so that I can put that together to go up on the website Friday morning. So Chapter 4 will be released Friday morning. It is ongoing. More people need to watch it if I'm going to continue investing time editing this together, because it's a process trying to get those voices and all those kinds of things and the sound effects. So get in there, share it around, and make sure you check it out. But that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's episode. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Superman Homepage tonight. I want to thank my co-host tonight, Chance Bartels. Thank you so much for joining me as tonight's co-host. Really appreciate you jumping in for Michael and Mark.
My pleasure. Get well soon, Mark Lax. Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And on my channel, The Nostalgic Podblast, I'm putting all the Space Giants episodes up. That's a 1966 Japanese show akin to Godzilla, if you want to see it. It's in the public domain, so I don't have any issues uploading.
Very cool. Excellent. Yes, as you said, happy Thanksgiving to everyone who celebrates it there and other parts of the world. So happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for spending this final hour with us for tonight. We really appreciate your company. Thanks to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. My USB fan has died here, and I am sweating it up big time. It is so hot here in Australia at the moment. I'm beginning to feel like the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm melting. So I will thank everyone. Remember, we'll be back next week at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time for another edition of Superman Homepage live next Wednesday night. I think we'll be going to Mondays after that because Superman and Lois will be finishing on their Mondays, so we can return to our regular time slot. But I'll remind you all about that when we return next week. But that's it for Superman Homepage Live. Thanks again for watching us. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Chance Bartels. Thanks for watching Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com. Good night.